From the outside, my existence in the suburbs appeared to be a flawless tableau, a life that sparked envy in the hearts of many. In a magnificent, expansive residence, we found ourselves surrounded by a meticulously maintained lawn and a shimmering pool that glistened beneath the gentle caress of the sun. My husband Mike was a diligent and accomplished man, while our son Eric stood on the brink of graduation at the age of 20, ready to embark on his next chapter. To the outside observer, we embodied the very essence of joy, a family that others aspired to be. Yet, within the confines of that house, reality painted a picture far from idyllic. Mike dedicated the majority of his hours to his job, and upon returning home, he seemed hardly aware of my presence. His focus was entirely absorbed by his phone or the television, the warmth that once thrived between us now a distant memory. The man who once embraced me now scarcely cast a glance my way. As the days passed, the silence that enveloped us thickened, resembling a persistent fog that stubbornly clung to the air, leaving me to grapple with the unsettling sensation of invisibility within my own marriage. Isolated in an existence that ought to have brimmed with richness, on a Saturday afternoon in the early embrace of summer, the winds of change began to stir. Eric extended an invitation to his closest companion for a delightful swim. Marcus, he had been visiting for months, consistently courteous and unfailingly respectful. Merely another boy in my eyes, until that fateful day arrived. As I stood in the kitchen, rinsing the dishes at the sink, my gaze drifted toward the sliding glass doors that opened up to our backyard, and there he stood. Marcus lingered at the pool's edge, his skin shimmering beneath the bright midday sun, as beads of water cascaded down his smooth, flawless dark complexion. His physique was trim and athletic, with muscles rippling with every motion. He plunged into the water with grace, emerging moments later, a broad, assured smile illuminating his face, showcasing a set of flawless white teeth. In that fleeting instant, my gaze was utterly captivated. It wasn't merely his physique or his grin that captivated me. There was an elusive quality that drew me in, the manner in which he conducted himself, his unwavering assurance, his tranquility, in stark contrast to Mike's remote and fatigued demeanor. An unfamiliar feeling awakened within me, a sensation long dormant, untouched by the passage of time. I compelled myself to return to the dishes, yet my hands quivered ever so slightly, and my thoughts continually drifted back to Marcus. In the weeks that followed, Marcus found himself at our house with increasing frequency. He and Eric spent countless hours in the garage, honing their skills, indulged in video games until the stars blanketed the sky, and basked by the pool during those languid afternoons. Whenever Marcus was close, my senses heightened, attuned to his presence. Each fleeting gaze, each and every word, each time his rich, resonant voice echoed throughout the home. On a sunlit afternoon, Eric dashed to the store, leaving Marcus in his wake. As I stood in the kitchen, meticulously preparing dinner, he entered the room. "Mrs. Blake, would it be all right if I took a moment to fetch some water?" he inquired. His voice caught me off guard, deep and velvety. "Certainly, Marcus," I responded, wishing my tone conveyed a sense of ease. "Kindly refer to me as Amanda." He offered a smile effortlessly charming that sent a flutter through my chest. "Thank you, Amanda." As he extended his hand toward the glass, our fingers lightly grazed against one another. It was a fleeting moment, ephemeral, yet it coursed an unmistakable surge through my being. I stood still, caught in a moment of sheer disbelief. His words lingered in the atmosphere, laden with significance. My breath hitched. I was acutely aware that I ought to turn and leave, conclude this with a final thought. Yet I refrained. I found myself immobilized, attracted to him as a moth is irresistibly drawn to a flickering flame. Just as I was about to reply, Eric entered the room. The spell was shattered. Marcus straightened, a familiar smile gracing his lips once more. "Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Blake," he remarked before departing alongside Eric. Yet his words remained, echoing in the silence. And thus, the flame he had kindled within me burned on. The subsequent days melded into one another, secretive looks exchanged in silence, ephemeral caresses. Hands moved swiftly in the kitchen, neither of us willing to retreat. As we brushed past each other in the hallway, our arms lightly touched, igniting a cascade of shivers along my spine. I found myself treading a perilous path. With each attempt to push him away, I felt an undeniable pull towards him, growing stronger by the moment. On a tranquil afternoon, Eric ventured out to complete his errands. Marcus lingered in the shadows. As I lounged on the patio savoring my iced tea, he made his way over to join me. "Do you mind if I take a seat?" he inquired. "Certainly not," I responded. For a time we lingered in quietude, the melodic chirping of birds intertwined with the distant hum of traffic, creating a symphony that enveloped the space between us. Then he uttered his words. "Your demeanor appears to have shifted recently. Is everything all right?" For a moment I paused. There's simply so much swirling in my thoughts. If there is anything within my power to assist. His voice faded into silence, yet the meaning lingered unmistakably in the air. As I gazed upon him, truly gazed, a profound change stirred within me. It had transcended mere attraction. It was a deep yearning. A yearning to rediscover the essence of vitality. The evening of the event felt destined to unfold. Mike and Eric ventured to a baseball game in the city. The silence in the house was strikingly profound. A stillness that invites your mind to meander into perilous realms. Marcus lingered, asserting that baseball was not to his liking. I had not given it a second thought. A sense of relief washed over me, a fragment of my being quaked with fear. As I lounged on the couch, my mind drifting from the pages of a book that failed to capture my attention, Marcus emerged in the doorway, framed by the soft glow of the dim hallway light. "Do you mind if I join you?" he inquired. "Indeed," I murmured softly. He took a seat next to me, more intimate than at any previous moment. The atmosphere surrounding us shimmered with an electric intensity. "You appear to be anxious," he remarked gently. "I'm all right, though I wasn't entirely truthful." He extended his hand, gently retrieving the book from my grasp and placing it aside. "Amanda, there's no need for pretense around me." The sound of my name, uttered by him without the usual formalities, sent a delightful shiver coursing down my spine. I pivoted to meet his eyes, my determination crumbling beneath the intensity of his stare. "Cannot," I murmured. "You can," he replied, steady and assured. "I sense that you share this feeling as well." In that instant my thoughts came to a halt. "Cease to fret." I leaned in and he reciprocated, meeting me halfway. As our lips met, it felt as though a dam had burst open. Weeks of repressed longing surged within us, overwhelming all else. His hands, robust yet tender, cradled my face, drawing me nearer. I surrendered to his presence, losing sight of all else except the emotions he stirred within me. We transitioned from the couch to the sanctuary of my bedroom. The identical location, countless solitary nights passed, each one steeped in the uncertainty of whether Mike still saw me at all. Yet, at this moment, someone has taken action. I withdrew my hand swiftly, praying he hadn't caught the subtle tremor in my breath. "Apologies for that." He let out a gentle laugh. "It's perfectly all right," I whispered, sensing the warmth creeping into my cheeks. Once he exited the room, I lingered for a considerable time, propped against the counter, my heart racing. What was unfolding within me? In my 40s, I found myself navigating the complexities of life as a married woman. Yet there I found myself, cheeks aflame like a youthful student smitten by a crush, captivated by someone half my age. As the night deepened and the world succumbed to slumber, I found myself seated in solitude by the shimmering pool. The moonlight danced upon the water's surface, each gentle ripple reflecting the turmoil brewing within me. I endeavored to persuade myself that it was innocuous, merely a fleeting infatuation destined to diminish with the passage of time. Yet, beneath the surface, I was aware of the truth. An unspoken connection lingered in the air between us. There exists a presence, intangible yet undeniably genuine. It filled me with dread. I vowed to set those emotions aside. I held the role of a wife, a nurturing figure. My duty was to safeguard my family. Yet, as I pledged that promise, a soft murmur lingered in the recesses of my thoughts, persistently questioning what if. I endeavored to dismiss the magnetic draw I sensed toward Marcus. It lay hidden beneath the monotony of everyday existence, yet he rendered it utterly unattainable. His presence permeated every nook and cranny of our abode. The sound of his laughter reverberated against the walls. His presence hung in the atmosphere, a palpable echo that remained long after he had departed the space. A week following that fateful night by the pool, circumstances began to shift. In the sweltering embrace of summer, Eric and Marcus engaged in a spirited game of basketball, their shirts carelessly discarded in the driveway. I had drawn back the living room window, inviting a breath of fresh air inside. Their light-hearted exchanges danced through the air, yet my gaze remained fixated on Marcus. His form glided through space with an ease that seemed almost otherworldly. As they concluded their task, Eric dashed indoors to retrieve an item from his room, leaving Marcus solitary on the porch, a bottle of water in hand. He noticed my gaze upon him. He wore a smile. It was more than a mere courteous smile. It was an understanding. It felt as though he could peer directly into my soul. My heart pounded in my chest as I swiftly averted my gaze, feigning interest in the laundry I clutched tightly. What a lovely day it is, wouldn't you agree? Marcus's voice caught me off guard. He stood just outside the window, leaning effortlessly against the frame. Indeed it is, I responded, fighting to maintain a steady tone. It would be delightful to see you outside more often, Mrs. Blake. He suggested, basking in the sun. His tone danced lightly, yet beneath it lingered an elusive depth, a nuance I struggled to identify. I'm perfectly content in this spot, but I appreciate your concern, I responded, mustering a smile before redirecting my gaze once more. Yet, his words lingered in my mind. It wasn't merely the content of his words, but the manner in which they were delivered. A formidable challenge awaits. As the evening unfolded and I tidied up the remnants of dinner, Marcus once more graced the kitchen with his presence. Do you require assistance? He inquired, his voice barely above a whisper. No, I've got it, I replied, deliberately steering clear of his gaze. Yet he chose to stay. He rested against the counter, his gaze fixed on me with a fervor that sent shivers down my spine. You put in too much effort, he murmured softly. I halted, a plate lingering in my grasp. It had been years since anyone had uttered words like those to me. It's simply my way, I replied with a slight shrug. Perhaps it's time for someone to look after you for once. As dawn drew near, guilt slinked in like an unwelcome shadow. As I reclined next to Marcus, my gaze fixed on the ceiling, thoughts surged through my mind like a tempest. This cannot happen again, I murmured softly, yet, as the words escaped my lips, a part of me remained unconvinced. I doubt you truly mean that, Marcus responded with a serene demeanor. He gently swept a lock of hair away from my face. Amanda, you are worthy of feeling this way. His words caressed my aching heart, yet they failed to dispel the guilt that had begun to take hold. In the weeks that followed, we carried on our clandestine affair, hidden from the prying eyes of the world, capturing fleeting instances in the absence of Eric. During the hours when Mike toiled away into the night, the excitement of it all heightened the experience. Yet it also instilled a sense of paranoia within me. The initial sign appeared when Mike discovered Marcus's hoodie casually thrown over a chair. Did Marcus leave this here? He inquired. Indeed, I responded in haste. Following the meal, Mike arched an eyebrow, yet remained silent. Yet I found myself unsettled. How much longer can we maintain this facade before someone catches on? The response arrived more swiftly than I had anticipated. The sun bathed the world in warmth on that Sunday afternoon. In the backyard, the sound of laughter echoed as Eric and Marcus shared a moment of joy. Mike navigated the array of channels in the living room, his fingers dancing over the remote control. With a facade of normalcy, I arranged the table for dinner. Yet everything was far from fine. I had traversed a boundary that could never be undone. The burden of my secret bore down on me, suffocating in its intensity. As dusk settled in, Mike ventured outside to answer a call. Eric was upstairs, indulging in a refreshing shower after their invigorating swim. In the quiet solitude of the kitchen, it was just Marcus and me. The air was heavy with anticipation. I can no longer bear this weight, I murmured softly. He advanced with measured intent. Surely you can't be serious. I do, I insisted, though my voice quivered with uncertainty. This is incorrect, Marcus. It must come to an end. Just as he was about to respond, the back door swung open. Mike entered the room. His gaze danced between Marcus and me. Then they became more focused. What is happening here? He inquired. In an instant, the delicate equilibrium I had painstakingly maintained started to unravel. Duok ghi lai boi turbosar bad ai. Kap not len fin ban kong gioi honda loi bothong bao nai.